going to turn a foot on a bowl. So again, we're going to just start, we're going to look at the shape of your bowl and feel the walls of your bowl and take note of where it starts getting thicker, where you're going to start taking clay away. The aim of the game is to make an even wall consistently around the outside of the bowl so that all the walls are even. So you can see we've got a lot of mass here that we're going to remove. Depending on the shape of your bowl, you might have a wider bowl or a narrow bowl. I might say put my fingers on the inside of the bowl and open them apart a bit so I can get a bit of an idea of where the walls start coming up. And then I'll put that on the back of the bowl here. And so it was between here and here. And I'll just put a little mark. And so that would be a safe area to take away to here. And then the other thing I'm going to do is just feel through the base, and I can feel there is a little bit of thickness through there, so I reckon I can definitely turn a foot onto this. So now I'm going to centre this. Now remember, when you are turning, you want a little bit of moisture on your wheel, not too much, but enough that you can get a bit of suction around that rim. We'll get that onto the wheel, and we're going to start by centering it. So I'm going to start from about here. Sometimes your rim's a bit uneven. You want to work out where the best place is to center it for turning a foot. So if I start up here, I can see that the bowl is further away there, so I move it a little bit closer. And that's pretty centered because it's staying on my finger. I'm going to get 4 mounds of clay, and at the same time, nice and evenly, press it onto the 4 edges. I'm just going to check one more time, nice and centered. All right. So getting the needle tool, now there's the mark that I put on earlier. So I'm going to, 2 hands, just going to make a light circle here, and that's my guide. I'll get my turning tool. So the first thing we're going to do is we're just going to concentrate on turning the silhouette of the bowl. So middle finger in the middle holding the bowl, thumb resting on the right hand. I'm holding my turning tool like a conductor stick. I'm anchored on my elbow here, and I'm all touching, all my hands are touching each other so that they support each other. And I'm just going to start by removing some of this clay. So it's coming away nicely. Just taking a little bit at a time. If it starts wrapping around you, just get it off. It's not too sticky, which is good. I'm going to start using the point now. And I'm going to there's a little bit of drag the deeper I go. I suppose that's because, the very outside of the pot might be a little drier than the inside. So as you start turning lower, your tool starts to drag a little bit. So you just have to work with that. Okay, so now up the top here, I'm going to make a little shape like a foot. So just going to take a bit of that clay out and then curve it back into the wall. And you can just sort of put your head on the side, have a little look, see how it's looking. Sometimes if you give it a little tap, you can hear it sounds a little more hollow the thinner you're going. So that's sounding, I can hear a little bit of a twang there. So that's pretty good. So once you're happy with your outside shape, then we're going to start taking out a bit of bulk from the inside. So again, I'd start with my needle tool and I'll draw a little guideline. Give yourself about 6 mils to start with. You want the foot to have a bit of a relationship to the rim. So, you know, if you've got a thinnish rim, you don't want a really wide foot. You know, if you've got a wide, chunky rim, you want a wide, chunky foot. You want them to be pretty close to each other. So I'm going to start by doing concentric circles. Now, again, my hands are touching each other, but I'm using this fourth finger here as a bit of a guide on the side. And I'm just going to carefully take out concentric circles going towards the centre. And then I can come back and flatten that out. If you just tried to come in there and, you know, take a big flat chunk, you'd find that your tool would jump up and down. So you just want to take a little bit at a time, and then you can come back and start to even that off. And that's also a really good tip. You know, if you've forgotten to, you know, if you've got an uneven base of the pot, or if you've forgotten to, you know, shave this little bit off before you've taken it off the wheel, when you threw it, to just start by taking concentric circles to try and even that pot off. So once we've taken out a bit of this bulk through here, what we want to try and do is we want the inside here of the foot to look like it's a continuation of the bowl. So we're going to curve this down a little bit out on the edge so it looks like it's the shape of the bowl with a ring sort of stuck on the top. So I'm going to go down, I use the pointy end of the tool, I'm going to go down in that corner a little bit more. And then just blend that up to the middle. Down a little bit more. You just create these very subtle changes that create shadows, and that can make a really big difference to the overall aesthetic of the pot. All right, so we've got that bulk out of there. So now we want to just think about tidying up the thickness of the foot. So I might just take a little bit more off the side of the foot on the inside. Just take that little bit off there. Just have to work out where you want the tool to go and how you can hold it. And then once you've got it to about where you want it, we can come back with a sponge with a touch of water on it, and we just smooth over some of those lines just to soften them. And the same on the inside, you just use your there you go. And once you've done it, we can take it off the wheel, we can have a bit of a feel of it, and if it's too heavy, we can always put it on and take a little bit more off. Undo that seal, have a little feel through there. You can see there's still a little bit of weight through here. Can you see how there's that slight bulge here? So we can put that back on and just take a little bit more out of there. So we'll do that. It takes, you know, when you first start, really takes a while to get these pots nice and light. You don't want to have heavy pots. So you just have to take your time. We'll just re-centre that. And again, take our pieces of clay, two sides at a time. We'll just recheck that. Come back with our turning tool, and we're just going to take a tiny bit out there. And you can always, it seems that you can always take off more than you want to. Well, it looks like you're taking off a lot of clay. You can see how much clay's here in the wheel. It looks like you've taken off quite a lot, so you do get a little bit tentative because you don't want to go through the pot. Okay, so we'll have another little look on the side. Just stuck on there. Maybe just a touch more through here. Just to get that nice continuous curve of the bowl. It's stuck on there. All right, that's looking a bit better. All right, so again, we just finish it off again with a bit of a sponge, just a light sponge. Take that off. Oh, and that's a much lighter. And that's how you turn a bowl. You could just finish off the rim a little bit because it's been sitting upside down. Just give that a light sponge. And that's turning a bowl.